Hi, on this video I'm just going to talk about my greenhouse and just a little bit about how I use the space within my greenhouse. As you see, it's not a big greenhouse, it's 4 foot by 6 foot. It's a fairly light frame plastic sort of windows. What I have done on mine, just to help weigh it down, is when I set the greenhouse there, I nailed it or screwed it down onto some large blocks of wood. So all the way around the base are sort of 3-inch pieces of wood, so 3 by 3 or 7.5 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters, and that's just helped weigh it down so it doesn't get taken off in the wind, and also just gives me actually obviously 3 inches more height when I'm actually in the greenhouse. You'll notice where I have it positioned, it's against the fence. The back is actually south facing, so what I get is during the day I get a lot of sun coming in from the side. Just as we get to the heat of the day, my next door neighbour's trees actually just are quite good in it, put a little bit of shade onto the greenhouse just in the heat of the day, and then as the sun moves round into the forest, it starts to get a lot more sun again. Still in the summer I do need to pop something over the top because it does get hot in there. What I'll do in a moment, I'll take you inside and show you how I utilise the space. I also have a remote thermometer in there as well, so during the summer I can really keep an eye on whether it's getting too hot. So let's go inside and see how I utilise the space. So this is just a quick look in the greenhouse before we actually go in. So you see, just got a sliding door. You can see probably just through the glass left and right, you can see that I've already got various seeds on the go. I've got some shelves in there, and also at the end I have a couple of bits of wood that go across between the shelves just to give me a bit of extra space just while I've actually got my seeds potting, and I actually use that just for watering things. As I said, we'll go right inside and I'll just talk you through what I have in there. So here we are inside the greenhouse. I said it's not a big one, it is only 4 foot by 6 foot, so I've really tried over the years to mess around with a few things and just trying to see how I can get the most out of the space I've got. So what I actually have is I have a set of shelves which I got from a DIY store, B&Q in this case, but probably get them from anywhere. It was actually a set of 6 foot shelves with 5 shelves as part of it. But what you're able to, because of the way these shelves are built, the main uprights actually come in 2 sections, so I was able to split it into 2 sets of shelves, one with 3 shelves and one with 2 shelves. So what I've got here on this side, this is the 2 shelves. They come with MDF or chipboard shelves, so what I did is I wrapped those in plastic, because obviously you've got water on the go when you're watering things, so I wrapped those in plastic, and then I also have just this little bit of plastic extra on top as well, which I think might be in a little roll of something from IKEA or somewhere like that. So that's just also then protect the shelves a little bit. And then what I tend to do is I tend to use these small sort of troughs. It's kind you put a tomato bag of something in. So on that side I have the 2 shelves. Over on this side I have the 3 shelves. At the far end, just to utilise it, I've rigged up just a little bit of metal coming up that's fastened to the shelf frames, but then goes further up, and I've got netting on there, so later on in the year that's where I will have cucumbers or melons just sort of growing up there. You'll also, if I just focus in a little bit, you'll see up there I just have a little light, which is just handy if I'm just coming in without needing to turn any lights on. It's just a little torch. But also next to that is the little remote control unit for a thermometer, so from in the house I can always see how hot it is in the greenhouse. So what I tend to do in doing my things is, here, as I said, I use a lot of these sort of large trays. So over on this side you can see I've got some seeds and things like that sitting in the tray. I've actually just got 2 raspberry plants waiting there that I'll actually probably plant out in the next couple of days. Down at the bottom again another tray, and what I've got is a sort of seed trays in there with the things with about 15 different pods in. Over on this side you'll see I've just got my eggs going in some egg boxes at the moment. That's my potatoes, sorry, going there. I then got lots of seeds on the go, and further down and I still haven't got anything down on the bottom shelf yet. Over there at the far end, just a thing with a few bits of rubbish in at the moment, but normally what will happen is later in the year that's where I'll have some cucumbers and maybe a melon growing from that, so that it can go right up the netting. They do grow well. Last year they were obviously right up at the top of the netting, and I got quite a good crop of cucumbers last year. And also, as well as using the trays, you'll see I also use these long troughs quite a bit. So at this time of year, those will hold about 15 of the small plant pots. So if you actually see on that bottom shelf, ultimately, I've got 15 pots going there, and then each of these trays has 15 in, so I've got 75 things on the go just down on that bottom shelf. What I then also do here in my greenhouse is I tend not to water things direct with the watering can. So what I do is I've got a couple of old pieces of wood. It was actually the roof of my previous shed. I just pop those between the two sets of shelves, and I have a tray that I normally have filled with water. And what I do is, because there's quite a bit of shade in here because of all the different shelves, what I do is periodically I'll be in here, I'll pop out, take a chunk of the pots with the seeds in, I'll pop them in there for a short while to just get them watered again. So they just let them soak up the water for maybe 15, 30 minutes, maybe an hour sometimes, but I don't put them in all night or anything like that. I just give them a decent water. And then what I use is I use the chance generally, I'll then move some pots from that shelf up onto the top shelf. So I also rotate slightly who's getting the most sun. So that's it. It's not a massive space. What I will say as well, if you see down at the bottom there for my potting, I've just got a couple of troughs there. They're just half filled pots of soil, just warming up, ready for my next set of seeds to go in them. So I just use the opportunity to warm those. So there's probably about 70 pots on the go just under there. There's another trough underneath with probably about 30 or 40 in each. And also what I did do, I just casually laid my paving stones underneath when I made the base. I haven't sort of grouted them or anything like that, and I made sure there's gaps in between them. That just hopefully that if I spill any water, it's just easier for it to drain away. So nothing exciting there really, but that's just how I try and maximise the space I have in my small 6 foot by 4 foot greenhouse. Well, nothing too spectacular there, I suppose, but it's just to try and give you an idea of what I've done with my small greenhouse and how it is possible to cram quite a bit in, use good use of shelves and things like that, and also just how I monitor the temperature in there, and also the bit about how I water things using a trough of water. What I will do is a separate video where a few things like the temperature gauge and things like that I've got in here, I'll do a separate video where I just try and give a bit of details on a few of the things that I use and have worked out okay for me. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you later.